Thank you, Wendy, for the introduction and for having me here. It's a great pleasure. And actually, it's even greater pleasure to have here with us Nir, one of the two co-founders of CyberX. Actually, very interesting company with an excellent story and successful story behind, as Cyber was acquired earlier this year by Microsoft. So Nir, very nice to having you here. And I guess that it will be very interesting to learn and to sort of hear from you directly some of your sort of thoughts about the journey you made together with your co-founder, Omer. And maybe I would start with the first sort of question, like the opening question, actually going backwards to the real beginning of the story. Actually, what was the motivation and how that all started?
So thank you for, first of all, thank you for having me. And Victor, Inven, and Victor specifically were great supporters of our journey in CyberX. I co-founded CyberX with Omer Schneider. We've served together in the IDF's Elite Cybersecurity Unit. And we started the company because we saw a major problem within industrial infrastructure. And the problem was that that infrastructure, which is effectively let's say it's the basis for a lot of companies, and you can even say to some extent human civilization. I'm talking about energy companies, water utilities, manufacturing, etc. All of these companies are vulnerable to attacks. That is going to happen, and we have the concept of how we're going to implement that, and by doing so, building CyberX as a company. So I think we've tackled that problem very well, and to us it was very important that we do something that's very meaningful, impactful, something that's a must-have rather than something that's nice to have. So that was kind of the notion in starting the company.
The interesting thing here is that actually you didn't join like any big company, to pursue your idea, and you decided to start your own business, which is obviously a challenge always. So how come that you wanted to do it by yourself and not joining like somebody big?
So I think that was part of we saw a major challenge, a major problem, which was not addressed, as you said, by any of the big companies. And we felt that this is a good domain to be active in. And at the same time, we understood that we need great partners. An investor is always a partner in the path in your journey as a company. So we are always on the look for to have great investors join in. And luckily, we had Inven, and you specifically join our journey and share the same vision and view.
And for you guys, it was actually this, almost all the time, because of the two teams, one sitting here, one sitting there. So all these Skype meetings, these sort of, we have the outings, we like you go together, you go for a run, you go for beer or whatever. If you have two teams, all this, it's much more difficult. So to keep the sort of the team together, the spirit that also, the exchange of the information, you want people to know what's going on, that everybody feels, like part of the same group, everybody feels that they are on the same boat. And I think this is very difficult, and we can see it now. So I think that you did obviously a good job, and all these outings, that was quite interesting, how to put the people together. By the way, how did you do it?
I think it's very much I think it's an analogy. It is very similar to how Inven chooses the teams and the companies to invest in. it is choosing the people who have the same spirit, drive for success, and the similar dynamics, right? And then alignment becomes something that's much easier and very powerful, because you don't have to invest a lot of time in aligning. You don't have to think the same. Alignment does not mean thinking the same. Alignment means knowing how to work together as a team to drive great results, right? And I wanna thank you, Victor. On a side note, thank you, thank Inven and you personally in supporting us on this journey, sharing an innovative vision, and I'm very happy that we got to a situation. CyberX was acquired by Microsoft, and this was a great outcome for our investors, our employees, and so I'm thank you for being with us on the journey. I think that I would put my finger on not compromising, which is very difficult, right? Because as a startup, you're always resource limited. There aren't enough hours in a day and in a week and in a month, right? You're always under a lot of let's call it restrictions, right? So you really need to figure out how to invest the resources you do have and how to prioritize. But at the same time, I would, if I could go back in time, I think that we had a very high standard, not compromising. But that's always a lesson I would remind myself again and again. And I think an additional thing is a lesson learned is I would say aim for diversification as fast as possible. And diversification, I mean, there are a lot of professionals in your domain. When you're a startup and you're trying to disrupt a specific domain, then in the boardroom, for example, pulling into the table various people with diverse experience is something that contributes to the growth of the company. We don't have time for specific examples, but that's definitely a key ingredient. A diversified team of talented people is always a good path.
And we are coming back. Actually, in your case, this, the constellation of success, was there from the beginning, and that was, for us, I would say the most important, thing when we were, deciding to invest, and it was a great journey. So I think we are sort of like this sort of seems like nice sort of end of our discussion. Even though I would love to continue for easily for another 1 hour or even more. So, but hopefully next time live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Once flights are back, we're definitely I'm definitely flying over.
Yeah, and hopefully same for us, coming back to Tel Aviv and to Israel. So, definitely happy. So thank you very much, Nir, for your time, and definitely, let's stay in touch. And now, thank you, Wendy, and, back to you. Thank you very much.